Hey Classy Career Girl Network, we're back for the Fall in Love with Your Work and Life Challenge, and it is day 3. So tell me where you're watching this from. Post your questions below. Today is a big day. We talked about something really big in the videos if you've had a chance to watch them yet. If you haven't, they'll be there for the rest of the week, so don't worry. They're there for you. Take your time, go through them. The questions in the handouts are really, really important. So please take your time with that. And so today we're going to talk about time and fear and some of your questions that have come in about time and fear and some of the roadblocks that are standing in your way. So obviously we've been through this journey. On day 1, we talked about our best selves. Like, where are we at when we're at our best selves? There's been so many of you that have posted what you're doing when you're at your best self. It's been so encouraging and inspiring to see. And then on day 2, we made a commitment for where we want to go, what we're going to do, what we're committed to do. But then on day 3, all these challenges and roadblocks you become more aware of. Hi, Alex. Thanks for joining us. So on day 3, that's when we really have to become aware of what roadblocks are in our way so that we know how we're going to tackle those and how we're going to get past those roadblocks so we can be our best selves, do work that is our best self, and complete that commitment that we made yesterday. So that's what this is all about. There's a whole formula I have. I've been doing this for 6 years. I know what I'm doing, so trust me in this process. Today it's going to make a lot of sense when we kind of go through what those roadblocks are and you move forward past them. I want to call a few of you guys out because you guys have been awesome in the Facebook group. Yesterday, Rachel, our community intern, asked you guys, name one word that you're feeling right now about this challenge, about how you're feeling. And Jerry said she's encouraged. Leah says she's ready. Brittany Buck says, I feel like this couldn't have come at a better time, and it's really helping me step back and evaluate what it is that I really want to do. So awesome. That means I'm completing the goal of this, right? This is what the goal of all this was. And then Catherine says that she's excited too. So tell me how you're feeling about this challenge. Post below in the comments, whether you're watching it with us live or you're watching the recording. We want to help you move your careers forward this week. So I hope you're having fun. So today, let's talk about fear and time. So if you have questions about fear, about time management, work-life balance, any of that, post them below. G had said link not available. So I'm not quite sure what link that you are having issues with, Jihad, but post a little bit more information. So John is here. He is going to help me answer your questions. He's going to be posting links and stuff. So if you have questions, if you missed something, feel free to jump in the comments. Sometimes it's really hard for me to catch up with all the questions that are coming in. So that's why I need him. So if you didn't get the introduction of John, he was on our first Q&A Facebook Live, so he made a cameo. I don't think he wants to make a cameo today, but okay, so let's talk about your roadblocks. So in today's challenge, I ask you to share with us in the community what your roadblocks are and one little simple step that you're going to take to move past that. And Mary, I wanted to call her out. She was the first to comment this morning, and she said her roadblock is not believing that I can do a great job, and I'm going to set aside time each day to focus on developing more skill. So that's awesome. I love that. I love your focus, Mary, and I posted, if you didn't see it, I posted some affirmations that you can use during that time. And that's one thing that has really helped me in the past is repeating affirmations over and over again on a daily basis, morning and night. John is going to share a link in the comments below with those affirmations. So there's some affirmations whether you're a job searcher or you want to start a business. So I highly, highly recommend doing that, whether it's saying them out loud or reading them. You definitely want to make sure that you are constantly being positive. There's so much inside our heads going on that we need to focus on always starting the day positive. Maybe the middle of the day, you need a little some energy to stay positive again. So that's a great time to read those affirmations as well. And Pabalo also posted that she had her first day as a visiting digital marketing lecturer and she got over her fear of public speaking. And she was reminded more and more each day of the importance of overcoming your fears. So total shout out to her, she's using what she's learning in this challenge to get over her fears and go out there and do some public speaking. So I know that's a fear for probably everyone, unless you're an extrovert, but I know for me, speaking has been terribly hard to get over that fear of public speaking, and something that I've had to work on my fears too. That's why I'm here right now, because I was able to get over a lot of the fears of being live and talking live and doing stuff like this too. So just know that we're cheering you on. So I hope you found that beneficial and inspiring to hear some other ladies in our group who are moving past their fears and they're going towards their goals and making things happen. So hi Anna, looks like you're here as well. So definitely focus in on a lot of the stuff that we're going to talk about today. If you have questions, I've seen a few fly in. First, we're going to talk about time. And a lot of questions came in about time. A lot of you, so Nicole said she's having a challenge with work-life balance. Jerry's having an issue with lack of time. Okay, so I really want to focus on this mindset issue as first. So by saying that you have a lack of time, you don't have time, you're too busy, right there, you're making it so much harder on yourself. So if you focus on your lack of time, you're going to run out of time. You're not going to have time. But what I really hope that you get out of today's video, if you get anything out of today's video, it's knowing that you are in charge of your time. You are the master of your time. You are in control of your time and in control of your calendar. You put what you want on your calendar. And so obviously other people try and put things on your calendar, and you have a family, you have priorities, you have a lot of this stuff. But just that simple mindset change of you are in control, that's what saved everything for me. You guys heard about it on the video. If you haven't signed up for the video yet, it's at classycareergirl.com/challenge. That's where you can get all the links and all the worksheets for the challenge that I'm talking about today. But that whole story, everything that is part of my story happened the day I said, okay, I'm taking control of my calendar. I hate my job. I hate my life. I hate what's going on. I'm like so stressed. And so it forced me to wake up earlier in the morning and put an hour in the morning toward my dreams and goals. So that's what saved everything for me. So I'm a huge fan of waking up earlier. Obviously, you have to figure out what works best for your calendar and what works best for you when you're at your best self, when are you the most energized and focused. But as you'll see from the challenge video today, that's something that I'm a huge fan of. So I see a ton of questions flying in. So let's tackle those questions. Are there any specifically that I should start with, John, or should I just go down the list?
Just go down the list.
Okay. Let's see here. Alex says, I had some issues around fear, taking the jump and the leap, but I woke up at 2 a.m. and just knew that I needed to start a third business page. Awesome. Sometimes those come in the middle of the night, right? So sometimes you just do have to take that inspired action. You just you know that that's right. You know that the timing is right and you have that idea. So that's awesome. I love that. And she also said, I'm toying with the idea for weeks of getting my BA in business, and watching you, I finally decided to go do it. Woohoo! That's awesome. Very cool. I'm glad that I helped in any sort of way. So that's very, very cool. Good for you. So that's a perfect example of one. I'm sure you're facing time issues. I'm sure you're facing fear issues to go back to school and get more education to reach your goals. But that's a perfect example of what we're talking about today. It's moving forward. It's moving towards that fear. It's getting over that fear. Fear is just something that is really always there. Every step that I've taken over the past 6 years in my career and my business, there's always some sort of new fear. Like right now, I have fears. There's always some sort of new fears that you have to move forward with. For fears, if you didn't, I think I mentioned this very quickly in the video, but I do want to make sure you guys know that the 3 questions to help you move past your fears. The first one is, what is the worst thing that can happen if you go after your goals? And then what is the best thing that can happen if you go after your goals? And then, is it worth it to go all in for number 3? So if you go, I would recommend you list all your fears out, you back, and then go through them and say, what's the worst that can happen if you do this? What's the best that can happen, and is it worth it to go in? And it sounds like, Alex, you probably did something similar, like, okay, what are all the things I'm scared about going back and getting my degree? Like, what's the worst that can happen? What's the best that can happen? And usually you see that the best outweighs the worst, and you're willing to go forward with your dreams and goals, even though there might be some hard things along the way. But if the worst happened, it'd be okay. And that's usually where I've been when I'm facing some really, really big fears. And usually those don't come true anyways. So hopefully that helps you kind of put in your framework. And Alex is our bright, shiny example of moving past any time challenges and fears today. So awesome. I love the real life case study.
Leah Brecker has a question.
Yeah.
A question I have about a roadblock is how to gain specific experience for an entry-level job when they ask for it, but you were not exposed to those experiences yet. I'm a recent grad, so I see this a lot. So frustrating.
Okay. So going into the interview, I think it's really important to know what the experiences are that they require. And usually it's on the job description. So that's the first thing. And you can ask around. Maybe there's, before you go into the interview, you can do some more research to see, okay, what are all the experiences that they're looking for, so that you're hopefully not caught off guard. So that would be the first thing, is the preparation. And then I would challenge you to really look at, I know you're a recent grad, but look at all the skills and the strengths and like everything, all the projects you've done in your class already, and ask yourself, okay, is there anything that I've done that has met any of those experiences that they're looking for? It is a challenge that you're going to face. Maybe a better question is, how can you get those experiences that they want you to have? Is there any way that you can be volunteering, that you can do an internship, that you can, for me, I didn't have experience doing career coaching or career writing or anything like that, but I started a blog and just started going down that path and eventually put it on my resume because I had gained those experiences myself. So that would be kind of my question, is making sure that you're completely prepared, all the experiences that they're looking for. If you go into an interview, it's not, you don't want to lie, obviously, but if there is something that you don't know, be honest, but tell them, I'm a great learner, and give them an example of a time where you didn't know how to do something, but you went home and you figured it out and you came back the next day and you were able to do something. So maybe that's a good way for you to respond in an interview, is just to give them an example of how you were able to learn really quickly, and why you're still a good fit. You may not know, you may not have that experience, but I will tell you firsthand, because I've been hiring a lot of interns here. I'm hiring for someone not necessarily who knows how to do everything. I'm hiring for someone who's super excited, wants to learn, wants to dive into all this training that I have for them. I'm going to teach them how to do the job, but I'm more looking for like an attitude, and I'm looking for, someone who really wants to learn and grow with our team and all that stuff. So just know that that's really what an employer is usually looking for, is someone who can learn and grow and just has the right leadership abilities and wants to dive in, and they can really see you on the team for years and years and years to come, rather than something that you could probably learn in a couple weeks if they gave you training on it and stuff like that too. So stay confident, don't worry, keep moving forward, and try and see if you can get an internship to learn about those experiences, or ask a nonprofit or a company if there's any way that you can help out for free, just to add those things to your resume. Great question. Okay, Alex says hi to John. Okay, anything else come in? I don't, any other questions come in? Because I had some that came in earlier.
Feliciana said the same, kind of echoed what you just said about volunteering and internships. So
if you can help each other in the comments and you know the answer, don't wait for me to talk, help each other out. That's what this community is all here for too. There's over 2,500 women in this amazing community too. So I know you guys can help each other out. You don't need to wait. You don't need to wait for me to give the advice for you guys too. So that's awesome. You're helping each other out. I love it. Okay. Anything else? Okay. So let's dive in. I saw, I don't know if Jihad, I hope you're pronouncing your name right, but she posted a couple questions before, so I wanted to make sure I answer her questions. She said, how did you overcome the fear of other people's reactions when you say no to something and you don't want to disappoint someone? Okay, so I think the most important thing here, so this is all about now moving to the fears, saying no to people, disappointing people, not doing everything for everyone, but starting to put the focus on yourself, your best self. How can you be your best self? And I think that's the first mindset thing is like, we got to take care of us, because I know for me, when I take care of myself, when I make time for myself and my goals and my dreams and just my personal hygiene, even, just self-care, when I make time for that, I'm a better mom, I'm a better wife, I'm a better daughter, I'm a better coach, I'm a better teacher, I'm a better community builder, all that stuff, CEO, manager, like all that stuff. If I'm not good with myself, if I don't make time for myself, then I just fall apart in all the other areas, right? So I think that's the first thing to remember, is you're your priority. And then you also have to remember that you can't please everyone. People are going to have their views of what you should and what you shouldn't do, but you're the only person that really knows what your best self is, that we talked about on Tuesday. You're the only person that really knows what the best career is for you, or how much time you need for yourself. I know I'm an introvert. I need a lot of time on my own by myself in order for me to be my best self. So only you know that. And I think the other thing, if you're worried about what other people will think, maybe there's a way that you could, so I'm just going to say an example. I don't know if this is your example, but if your friend wants to see you a lot on a daily basis or something, and maybe you're so busy with work or your goals that you are having a hard time hanging out with them so much. So what I would recommend there would be kind of to create like a weekly plan or a weekly schedule where you're always going to see them. So they know that, and it's on the calendar, and it's always going to happen. So that would be, if there's any way that you can make that so you don't have to spend every single day with them, but there's dedicated time, and they know that that's times for them, even if it's like a phone call every week or something like that. And then here's the other tip. So if someone is coming to you all the time and asking you to do something, like let's do this, let's do this, let's do this, and you have a hard time saying no that way, which is totally me, that's really, really hard for me to, I always say yes, and then later I'm like, I'm supposed to be in 3 places at once. Oh my gosh, like I can't do it. So in that kind of situation, I've learned now to not say yes immediately, but I always, and John and I have worked through this as well, because he gets asked to hang out all the time too. And so instead of saying yes, we say, oh, well, let me check my calendar. That sounds great. That would be so much fun. Because usually I can't remember my calendar in my head. And so I have to actually look at my calendar. So that gives you kind of like a little bit of time to actually think through things rather than saying yes or no right away. You can say, let me check my calendar and get back to you. You can go home, you can look at your calendar, see if it's something that is going to fit with your priorities, your values, your calendar right now. Because remember at the beginning of this Facebook Live, we said we're in charge of our calendar. We're in control of our calendar. And so we make the decisions about what goes in on there and what does not go on there. And I know if you're working for like a company, sometimes that's a little difficult. So you might have times in your calendar where yes, people are putting things on there, but just remember you're in charge of your calendar when you're not at work. You're in charge of your calendar in the morning, before you start your work at 8 a.m., you're in complete control of that time. You can do whatever you want with it. And you're in complete control after 5 p.m. You can do whatever you want with it. And I know for me, I listened to the video again this morning. Of course, I'm getting inspired in doing this challenge with you guys as we go along too, because I told the story of how I used to watch The Bachelor, and that was like, something that would help me get through just like a bad day. Like there was just something to look forward to that was just kind of a dumb show, And so, just stuff like that. Like, where are you wasting time like that, where you could be, working an hour instead on your goals, or working an hour instead on taking care of yourself and spending time mapping out your vision board or something like that. And today when we came back to San Diego, well, we sold our TV before we left San Diego a year ago, and then we came back this April, and we have not replaced our TV either. It's kind of nice. So, little things, little crazy things that, you might not think you could ever live without TV, but, we get a lot more work on our goals done because we don't have our TV. So that's probably the only reason anything like this challenge would happen, is because we don't have a TV, so it's never on. But obviously we do watch our shows on Netflix and stuff like that at times too. So that would be my answer for you, Jihad, about disappointing other people. Just making sure that you know that you are the most important, so you're the priority, and not everyone will agree with you and be happy and excited for you, and that's okay. You have to do what's best for you. That's why I created this community here. That's why I created our communities for our membership sites as well, because I really think it's important to have those people that have your back, that support you and push you forward, and that's really what changed everything for me as well. Okay, do you have any other questions? I gotta fix this because you guys can see my... Take a pause? Not working?
For some reason it stopped.
People are still on, though. Okay, if you're having issues, let us know. Okay, it's back. Veronica says it won't allow me to view your video. I had that issue, and it was because I was on Safari, and then I don't think I had downloaded... What was it that you're supposed to download? It's something. Well, no, I think if you're on certain, try a different browser. That would be my question for you. You might have to download. There's something that it was wanting me to download, so I couldn't use Safari to watch Facebook Lives, but it should tell you what you need to do to watch it. Okay, let's answer. Do we have any other questions? Okay, so Jihad asked another question that I'm going to tackle. So she said, my husband and I have ideas, but we don't find a way to plan it and have courage to devote time for it. What steps do you advise as you experience planning for business with your husband? What challenges have you faced? So this could be like a whole Facebook Live for married couples who want to start a business, right? So I think the most important thing for John and I won't talk too much about this, but I think it's really important that you are on the same page, that you're communicating, that you both have this shared vision for where you're headed. So if you both have two different visions of goals for your work and your life, working together might not be that best thing. You really have to be on the same page. And something John and I realized in the very beginning is that we do have a shared vision of where we wanted to be in the future. Working together always sounded really exciting. So I think that's important. You have to be really excited and passionate about where you're headed and where you're going. And then the other thing too that I think John and I have done really well, and he can jump in too if you have any tips for Jihad, but I think that it's really important to know both of your strengths and how they fit together. So I'm the goal person, I'm the planner, I am the studier, I'm the planner. I know where we're headed, the vision, and his strengths are way better, more on the operation side, making sure things get done, behind the scenes and our advertising and the emails and, making sure you guys have everything that you need, that payments go through, that people in our membership site communities have what they need and everything, customer service, all that stuff is where he excels and I do not. So, of course I like to keep you guys happy, but I'm more of like the content creator. I love creating content. I love teaching. I love interacting with you guys in this community. So figuring that out if you want to work together is really important. And this is more than even just, it doesn't have to be husband and wife. It could just be if you're working with other people on your team or you're managing others at work or anything like that. Okay. I also wanted to give you guys quickly, and I go a lot more into time management and productivity in a lot of our courses, but I did want to give you guys 7 steps that you can take right now to really up-level your time and your productivity and really give you actionable things that you can do today to really help you guys plan out your time better as well. And obviously I've talked a lot about this, but we go way deeper in this in Love Your Career Formula, which is actually opening tomorrow. Very excited about it. That's what we've been so busy behind the scenes working on. But just, I wanted to give you guys kind of just some quick actionable steps that you can take today to really find the time to grow your career and your business. So the first thing that really helped me was categorizing my time. So really putting my calendar in different categories. So there's focus time, there's administrative time, and then there's personal time. And so your personal time is your family time, really blocking that off in your calendar. Your admin time is like checking email, maybe posting a social media update, paying bills, getting the mail, all that stuff. And your focus time is the stuff that's really going to move your career goals forward. So if you are in any of our membership communities, if you're in Love Your Career Formula or Corporate Rescue Plan, your focus time is either the training modules, or it's working on your job search, or figuring out what type of career you want, growing your business. That's your focus time. And so we try and chunk as much time as we can together in your calendar doing those items. So that's categorizing all the things you do in your week. And the second one kind of very, very as much as the same thing is batching time together. So as long as you can get the most time together doing those same things. So that could be, batching together all of your administrative items, batching together, putting together, your job search plan, or working on your resume, doing that all at once, updating your LinkedIn profile, instead of doing it a little bit here and there for the whole month or something. You're going to get way farther ahead if you can batch that time together. I love morning routines. So that is something that's been really helpful for me, is having a routine of what I'm going to do every morning right when you wake up. Waking up earlier, I already mentioned that one. You guys know I'm a huge fan of just waking up, even if it's 15 minutes earlier, and you put your focus time pushing your career goals forward before you start working on your company's career goals. Super, super important. If you're here with us and if you have goals, you got to make sure the first work you do in the morning is pushing your goals forward, not someone else's goals. And then the fifth thing is really limiting your priorities. So I would challenge you to only work on the top 3 things every week that you need to move your career, your life, your business forward. So every week, every Friday, I do this. I used to do this on Sunday. Now I try and do this every Friday, is create my 3 goals for the next week. So I know on Monday morning exactly what my number 1 goal is, and I don't go to number 2 until I'm done with number 1. So really having those top 3 priorities. Focusing on the 20% of your time of the results that is going to make the biggest results for your career life. So if you guys know what the Pareto principle it is, it's the 80-20 rule. So we want to find the 20% in your calendar, whatever you're doing right now, that are going to get you the most results. So say you are job searching. This is a really good example for you guys. 80% of job opportunities are found through networking. So, what should you be doing with your time? You should be spending the most amount of your time on networking, because that's going to get you the most results. So making sure that you're thinking about that, it's not being on social media. It's not applying to endless amounts of job applications online over and over again. That's not going to get you the results that you really want. And then the last tip I have for you about time is really planning your weekly review. So every week I have a review session. So I know one of the questions that came up, someone said they're having a really hard time figuring out how to schedule their day. And the only reason I know what I'm doing each day is because of my weekly review session. So I have one time a week, every Friday, where I'm looking at the next week and really planning out what that week is going to look like. And that way when I wake up on Tuesday, I kind of know what I need to get done that day. So those are some quick tips that I hope help you guys really take action with your time, with your calendar. We've touched on a lot today. Have there been any other questions that have come in?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. So if you have any other questions, feel free to post them below. But I do want to give you guys a quick update of where we are headed next. So very exciting. Tomorrow is when we take all this stuff. All this stuff is kind of like the pre-work, the really important stuff about figuring out when you're at your best self, making that commitment, getting over the roadblocks. Tomorrow is super exciting. On day 4 of our challenge, our last and final day, we are going to create our action plan. We're going to plan what to do next, and you're going to have a very clear idea of where you're at and what you need to do next. And so that's really exciting. I'm really excited for that day. And I'm also super excited for you guys to see what Love Your Career Formula is all about, because we reopen that tomorrow as well. So shout out to all of you guys who were able to join us today. I think we are going to head on out and keep working behind the scenes on all the stuff that we have going on for you guys to bring you tomorrow. Anything else that I forgot to mention? Oh, share this with your friends as well. If you are loving this challenge, these videos, if it's inspiring you, it's going to inspire your friends and help them too. So I hope you realize by now how much of a stickler I am for quality and for really motivating you guys, inspiring you. So I would really, really appreciate if you share this free challenge with your friends. They can sign up at classycareergirl.com/challenge. And the videos will be up through the weekend as well, so they will have plenty of time to get in there. But make sure you watch them. Make sure we follow along with the challenge and really move your career forward this week. I know you guys can do it. So I'll see you guys. I'll be back again tomorrow. We'll be doing more Facebook Lives. So if you have questions, feel free to post them in our Facebook group community, and we'll see you guys all again tomorrow. Bye, everyone.